Hi there, Aries. Welcome to your end of September 2024 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. It's so weird because this is a deck that I had a long time ago. It was one of my first decks. And when I got it, it felt like, it's so much. I've got this other deck here, and it's like the thickness is so much different. I always feel like I'm holding half a deck. So I don't know. It's kind of, ooh. Okay. Yeah, I felt it was relationship related. I mean, of course, it doesn't have to be for everybody, but in this particular context, because there is in October, there's going to be a full moon in your sign. And there's also, the solar eclipse in your seventh house. The heart of the matter, and that's at the beginning of October, this is for the end of September, um, is the death card. Death is inevitable. I mean, endings are inevitable. Obviously, there might be someone in your life at this moment because the central theme card is about something that you're grappling with. I mean, there might be some kind of death. It's not something that is occurring in the future, but something you're dealing with right now that is really affecting you. And for Aries people, some of you may get hit hard because it's like your attitude may be that as long as you keep moving, life will just keep doing what it's doing. But, we do have different phases in life, and even Aries people may have to deal with um, the physical death of somebody that they love, or the end of a relationship, the transformation of a relationship. Really, what I'm getting at here is that the death card isn't always about physical death. It's about transformation, endings, but transformation in your life. And I look to the eclipses a lot of times because that is when it's kind of like forcing us to face um, change. Now, Aries people tend to roll with the punches because you really do like, um, change in general. So it's not something that you're just going to be like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. In the past position is, and it's also connected to Scorpio. So if you're involved with a Scorpio, it doesn't have to be romantic, but somebody in your life. In the past position, we have the Two of Wands. And when any two that you see could be choices, but especially if it is with a career matter, because wands can be a career matter that you realize, hey, I really am over that type of work. I want to do something else. And that can be emotional because you may feel like that's something that you're very identified with. And it makes a lot of sense, that people identify with something and it's hard to kind of change course or let it go. If you've been doing it for a long time, especially, or if you put a lot of energy and or money, because maybe your parents paid for it or the government, with loans to go to school, and you get into the workforce and you're like, damn, this is like nothing like the textbook. I thought this career was going to be X, Y, and Z, and it's like it's totally lame. It's totally not what I want to do. Because remember, we're growing spiritually, so even when we embark upon something, by the time that, if we stick to it, and Aries people tend to kind of abandon certain things if they're not interested. So if you actually got a degree in a certain area, you must have really been attracted to it for a long time. Unless you have Mars in Taurus as a sun in Aries, and you can just, do something to the end of time and it won't deter you. But in general, I would say that that can mean that you fulfilled some goal, but then when you take it to the real world, because studying something and doing it, you know, actually in that live and in person is a whole different animal. But it can also be like choosing between two people, and maybe you fall in love with someone and you're already in a relationship, and this is kind of like letting you know that it is truly over. Like, you may have not cheated, maybe it's like emotional cheating, or you don't even want to characterize it as cheating, but it still has let you know that you're over that relationship. And it could be kind of like a bit sad, because you may have tried to kind of keep it going. The higher message is the Two of Swords. These are both twos, so it kind of seems redundant. However, when we look at the suit involved, we're talking about air here and we're talking about fire there. Well, Aries is a fire sign, and you tend to, as an Aries person, like, if this is relationship related, what turns you on? And that isn't necessarily a good criterion of like how, who you should be dealing with, because obviously there are other things that make up a relationship. As a matter of fact, the physical, to me, is a trap a lot of times, that it's not going to be the highest level of compatibility. It's kind of like the fire element is coming on very strong and overpowering. If you think about fire, it really is expansive, and growth is really a good thing, but it has to be the growth that is at a higher level, not the lust, which is at a lower level. So the air is about looking at it analytically, not in that passionate moment. However, I will not completely discount passion. Being a fire sign myself, being a Sagittarian, I feel like fire signs do have to feel like life is passionate, like we're not just going through the motions, So I'm not saying that if you analyze a particular choice in the road or fork in the road with a relationship, that it's going to be like, oh, of course, you're going to be analytical and not, and ignore your strong, passionate feelings. No, but not get caught up in it is basically what I'm saying. What crosses you is the Knight of Pentacles. This is a card of kind of that, I just like I said, that Taurus, this is connected to Taurus. So if you have Mars in Taurus, plugging away, this is the earth element, and it can be kind of caught in this schedule, or I was going to say schedule, but I mean like this, the daily grind, where you are just comfortable in that rut of, I have somewhere to go in the morning and blah, 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 because maybe it is time for you to, if you are an Aries person working for someone else, maybe it's showtime for you to step out and do your own thing. But again, a Sun in Aries person may have definite personal planets in Taurus that make them more prone to, or kind of like feeling comfortable, being in that comfort zone about like a daily schedule. Now that could be sixth house related. This wasn't meant to be something that I say, but I'm going to, say, if you do want to look at, if you feel like that kind of conflict, I do have I'm primarily an astrologer, and I can look at your natal chart. I have a reading that's called Just the Natal Chart, where I just look at your natal chart for an hour and kind of maybe make sense of it, because there might be contradictions there. Everybody, if you read like in the Aries thing, like interpretation, they're going to tell you, oh yeah, you work for yourself, you're a self-starter, which is true, but it doesn't mean that that's how it's turned out in your life thus far. And there may be reasons for that. And, my insights could help you to accept that part of yourself, because you might be like hard on yourself, like, why I'm supposed to be like this as an Aries, and you're really not. So um check the link below for that reading, just the natal, but also for anyone who is, it like comfort zone, but also your own initiation. I do feel like sometimes it doesn't matter if your sign is connected to something. You can just feel like unsure if you should go in a certain route, on a certain route. And so, because sometimes I'll get people say, well, I'm actually not like this. You said that I'm supposed to be this or that. It's usually with astrology readings, not with this. But it's like, dude, there's different influences in your chart. But anyway, I digress. I'm talking about too much about astrology and a tarot reading. But anyway, with the Knight of Pentacles in the challenge position, for those of you who identify with what I just said, you might be restricting yourself too much with scheduling, with not being spontaneous enough, kind of being in that work. What do they call it? Running on automatic. And that is so not what you came here to do. You came here to initiate. You came here to bust out of any kind of ruts and help other people bust out of ruts. So if you find yourself there, you probably have like the moon in Cancer, or the moon in some kind of in Taurus, something that's very in love with routine, and that will keep you from your greatness. For some people, routines are their superpower, but for other people, and if you have, for other people, that could be a deterrent for them to expand. This the Wands is about expansion, and you may, it's kind of like if if you've lost your job and that makes you feel that you've lost your way, instead of like embracing that the universe is like saying, hey, go for it, you know because actually that solar eclipse in Libra that's happening on October 2nd, you may be feeling it right now in late September. And maybe you did lose your job because it's an early degree of Libra, and maybe it hit your 6th house of work instead of your 7th house of relationships. So I want to just put that out there. And the best thing you could ever do is embrace the change, because this is kind of that workhorse energy, because the universe may want you to go in a different direction. What's coming in is the Two of Cups. This is a card of, I think I had some sage ashes on the guy on his cheek. This is a card of reuniting with someone or committing to someone. But if this has nothing to do with your love life, this could actually be committing to something. Maybe you need to commit to yourself. And it's like two parts of yourself, just like I'm getting this dualism. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. I'm getting all these minor arcana cards that are like twos. And I think it's pretty unusual for Aries people to be kind of like at the horns of a dilemma, because even if you felt a little bit indecisive, you might be like, screw it, I'm just going to go for it. Because you just have that warrior energy, that adventurous energy. So it might be that that it's connected to another person, that this is like relationship related, but it also could be that you are feeling that Libra, that opposite sign energy, that impending eclipse energy in September. And it is making you kind of weigh both sides of an issue. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that that's a wonderful thing. Like, but sometimes the commitment is to yourself, commitment to your happiness, commitment to your future, to understanding that we're only here for a certain amount of time in physical form. So, ultimately with this, you may get hooked into making, this predictable amount of money. But if you don't feel happy, really look at that. Don't sweep it under the rug and say, it's just about me. Like there's something wrong with you, that you just have to suck it up, buttercup, and keep doing what you're doing. No, maybe that's not where you're supposed to be. And you need to think about it and not distract yourself with busy work. The outcome is the Strength card. So, the Strength card to me is when somebody has been under a lot of stress and they are having to recover from something. But of course, it's also in a way being tested. And what happens is you get stronger, and it's like an inner fortitude because you've been facing these challenges. But it does indicate that you're going in a positive direction. You're going in a direction of greater, feelings of self-worth, and being able to weather the storm, deal with whatever's coming your way, and maybe make an important decision. Because certainly if I'm getting 3 twos, there must be something going on here. All right, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.